No, guys, EVGA did not send me this RTX 3090 FTW3 Ultra. They didn't send this. They emailed me after I bought this, and I was kind of sad, but they sent me a keyboard instead. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the EVGA Z20 keyboard today. This is one of the fastest gaming keyboards available, has a 4,000 hertz polling rate, so it is competing with the Corsair K100. But depending on if you own anything else from EVGA within the past year or so, you may be able to get a huge discount and get this for way less than half the price of the K100, which is a pretty interesting prospect. But before we get to the pricing of the keyboard, is this actually good and worth your money? Well, the keyboard comes in two variants. There's the Z20 and the Z15, but the differences between the two is that the Z20 comes with the LK or light strike switches available in both linear and clicky, and then the Z15 is a hot swap PCB, and it comes with also linear and clicky switches, but you are able to put in your own switches, I believe, as long as they are 3-pin mount. But be sure to check out Technique's video, link in the description below, because he actually had both keyboards, and you can see how the hot swap functionality works on the Z15. Back to the Z20. This keyboard is a full-size keyboard, which I really hope it would be in EVGA's best interest to release this in a 10 keyless version, because personally, full-size keyboards, I'm kind of over them. I know that there is still a pretty large market for full-size keyboards, and those of you out there that do like full-size keyboards with the number pad as well as the macro keys on the side of the keyboard. Full-size keyboards are nice, but I just prefer 10 keyless, especially for gaming. While having a full-size keyboard, it gives you room to do other things that you typically can't do on a 10 keyless keyboard, like having those media controls at the top right, having a dedicated game mode button just above your macros on the top left, and then also fitting in that time of flight sensor. That gives you a few options if you want to either make your computer a little bit more secure, or you just want to have that feeling that your keyboard is welcoming you when you come back. And it's okay, a cool idea, but in practice, I wouldn't really use it to lock my computer, because like I get up and come back and it's like each time you gotta put in your password or whatnot, which could be nice if you're in, like a public workspace and you're working with other people and you want to keep your computer more secure. Just might be a good idea. But for me, just gaming at home, and I don't really have to worry about really anyone else, I wouldn't really use that feature. But it is really cool when you walk back up to your keyboard, those RGB effects start up again, and there is like different effects that you can use to kind of make that time of flight sensor a little bit more customizable and different colors and all that. But personally, I like the default mode where you walk up to it and the lights kind of rise up on the keyboard. It looks really cool. Now, this keyboard does feature a volume wheel and those dedicated media keys on the top right, but just below that volume wheel on the back side of the keyboard, there is indeed a USB port that does have pass-through to your PC. The cable is mounted in the middle of the keyboard, and there are 3 cables to plug in, 2 USBs and 1 headphone jack. So you can also route your headphone connection directly through your keyboard. On the left side of the keyboard, there is a headphone jack. So this keyboard does have a lot of functionality as well, in terms of like cleaning up your setup. And if you don't want to have your headphone maybe plugged into the back of your PC, wires running everywhere, maybe you just want to have a quick plug for your headphone, or maybe you're using a wireless headphone. In my case, I just plug it into that USB port. In terms of the RGB lighting, you do have a ton of RGB modes that you can select from in the software for the full RGB backlighting on the keyboard. And then you do have these 2 light bars on the side of the keyboard that look very cool as well. I do enjoy looking at the light show that this keyboard provides. So if you are an RGB enthusiast, it will fit with all your other EVGA gear, like maybe your graphics card. Now, getting back to the typing experience and gaming experience with this keyboard using those light strike switches. So my variant came with the light strike clicky switches. A lot of you probably know how I feel about clicky switches. I don't like them, but they're okay. They're relatively smooth. The biggest thing about this keyboard that I can say that is kind of is just the stabilizers are really not the greatest, and you do have ABS keycaps on here as well. So given the potential for the price to be much lower, kind of okay with the ABS keycaps. But I hope that in the next version, EVGA releases this keyboard, or the updated version of this keyboard, again with PVT keycaps. the Z15 version of this keyboard being hot swap, that one also comes with a 4000 hertz polling rate, even though it doesn't have the optical switches because you could put in mechanicals. It's just going to report, you know, a lot faster. I would guess that maybe you're able to pop out those stabilizers and clip and lube them and all that good stuff and make them sound even better. But in terms of the optical one, you can't, so you're kind of stuck with it. You gotta like them. All right, now that we are done with the review portion and talking about everything this keyboard can do and how it sounds and all that good stuff, EVGA, what's up with the real heavy gamer thing of this keyboard? Like, why? It just feels like this keyboard should have come out in terms of the design like maybe 3 years ago. It looks very dated, and it doesn't look simple or timeless or anything like that. Like, it's cool if you want to do light bars and stuff like that, but on the keycaps we got like this crazy gamer font, and I mean, just the overall design, it just doesn't feel like a very 2021 design, if you know what I mean. Like, if we look at a lot of other keyboards that people are buying, this doesn't really fit in well with that. This looks like kind of like the Corsair K100, just in the EVGA way. But I'll even say the Corsair K100, it has a much cleaner font. Parts of it do look a little bit more modern, but they also kind of have that same issue as well. But the best example I can probably give here is the Razer Huntsman line. How now Razer is really going toward a more simple and clean look and just adding that RGB flair. I think that's the proper way to go. I'm not saying to copy Razer, but do it in your own way. Figure out a way that makes simple and clean look cool and look uniform to, you know, the rest of your product design. I do actually like the EVGA stamp that you guys have at the top of the board, like that little logo, and it's like embossed and raised and whatnot. I think that part of it looks very cool. So maybe just like take what you guys decide to do there and run with it for the next revision of this board and make it look a lot more simple, a lot more clean, a lot more elegant, but still add the RGB. Now, pricing of this keyboard is $175, and if you're an EVGA Elite member, it drops it down to $88. And personally, I think that that is a really good deal for a board of this caliber. You're getting a full-size optical keyboard with 4000 hertz polling rate. Basically going to be one of the fastest experiences you're going to be able to have in terms of using a keyboard. I don't really know if like the 4000 hertz polling rate really makes that much of a difference in game. For me, not really. I use a lot of different keyboards all the time, and it's kind of easy to tell if it does or doesn't. It's not like using hair trigger switches on like the Razer Huntsman. Those are just a little bit, you know, too easy to actuate for me. But these I find to be very comfortable and very easy to use, and not really much of a learning curve. And for the price, it's really hard to beat. Like I said, you're competing against, you know, Razer Huntsman Elite, Corsair K100 with that 4000 hertz polling rate, and now Razer's got their new optical, no, it's not optical, it's analog keyboard for $250. So competing in the premium space for full-size keyboards, you're doing a good job, way under that $200 price point, and if you're an EVGA Elite member, even less than that. So good job on this one, nice first attempt, but we got some work to do for the revisions. And again, make a tankless version, like, please, but do the tankless version after the revisions and make it look a lot simpler and cleaner. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel as well. Thanks EVGA for sending out this keyboard for review. I also have their new mouse available as well, the 8000 hertz polling rate mouse that could be as low as $40. And is it worth it? I don't know. Find out in one of the next reviews I'm gonna be posting this week. Thanks again for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.